Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Classic Comics. Today I'm reviewing The Expanse, Season 5, Episode 5, Down and Out. Now, there will be spoilers in this review, so if you haven't seen the episode yet, you should do that and then come back here. Now, this episode follows after the events of last episode, in which Earth is hit by 3 asteroids, millions are dead. Nancy Gao, the UN Secretary General and leader of Earth, may be dead as well, along with a lot of her cabinet. So Earth has no clear leadership right now either. The Martian Parliament has been hit by a terrorist attack, and on Tycho, Marco's people have killed Fred Johnson and stolen the proto-molecule. Naomi is being held prisoner on Marco's ship, and Marco has declared that all open space and the ring worlds belong to the Belt, and if Earth or Mars try to do anything about it, he'll use the proto-molecule against them. So basically, Marco is hashtag winning right now, and he seems to be holding all the cards while the rest of the solar system is reeling from multiple attacks. We start this episode with Drummer and her small fleet of 3 ships. They're watching the news reports of the asteroid strikes on Earth, Marco's speech, and Fred Johnson's death. Drummer is feeling quite a bit of guilt over Fred Johnson's death because she had the chance to flush Marco out of an airlock previously and didn't do it. But then Drummer receives a message from Marco offering a meeting, and she accepts it. One of the surest signs of good writing, in my opinion, is when characters on the show make choices that wind up having consequences that you never anticipated. Now, when Drummer let Marco live, you kind of figured it was going to have consequences, but I can't believe anyone ever saw all of these events coming, aside from maybe people who've read the books, of course. When Drummer let Marco go, she never thought it would lead to her best friend being murdered or Earth being devastated and millions killed. Another good example of this is on Game of Thrones. When Catelyn urges Ned to go to King's Landing and then takes Tyrion prisoner, we'd never guess that it's all going to lead to, well, you know. When she urges Robb to go to the Twins and patch things up with Walder Frey, we never think that that is going to lead to, well, you know. And similarly, the characters on The Expanse make choices that wind up having unforeseen disastrous consequences that none of them could have seen coming. Back on Earth, Amos is trapped in the sublevel of that prison he visited, along with Clarissa Mao. The prison is in ruins and the elevators don't work, so Amos, Clarissa, and a couple of guards try to use the stairs, but they're blocked by rubble. Then they try to get into an elevator shaft to use the maintenance ladder, but the doors won't open, and Clarissa is still feeling the effects of the blocking drugs on her cybernetic implants, so she's too weak to force them open. Then things get interesting. They release one of the prisoners named Konachek. He also has cybernetic implants, and they get him to force the doors open for them. They discover that there is a ladder, but the ladder is behind a series of panels that run all the way back up to the surface. They begin ascending the ladder by shooting holes into the maintenance panels. Then Konachek uses the bullet holes as handholds to force the hatches open one at a time. Now, this is a good example of increasing jeopardy. They're already trapped under this building, which might collapse and kill them at any moment. To get out, they need the help of a violent criminal with cybernetic implants, which give him superhuman strength, who might turn on them at any moment. So now they have 2 things to worry about. The actor playing Konachek is quite good in the role. He's a big dude, so just his presence is threatening, and he acts somewhat cocky and arrogant, his behavior making it clear that he isn't the least bit intimidated by the guards, and that he could turn on them at any second. We then go to Alex and Bobby out in the Belt, and they're seeing the news reports about the attack on Tycho and the death of Fred Johnson. Alex wants to contact Holden, but Bobby refuses, arguing that they can do more good by staying with the Martian ships they've been tracking to find out who they're selling the weapons to. Then the Martian ships shut off their transponders and change course, heading for a group of asteroids called the Hungarian Group, which is out of the way from normal ship flight paths. They decide to follow, but in order to go unnoticed, Alex has to plan a flight course that takes them there in a very roundabout, circuitous way. Meanwhile, on Marco's ship, Naomi is brought to the mess hall for a meal, but refuses to eat. Now, Sin, I'm not sure how you say this guy's name. It's Cyn, Sign or Sin. I don't know. I think it's Sign. He's one of the Belters who's an old friend of hers, and he asks her to assist him in fixing an O2 scrubber that isn't working, but she refuses that as well and tells him that she had hoped that he would take care of Philip in her absence, and she's disappointed that he didn't do a better job. Now, I have to say, Naomi lecturing this guy about how disappointed she is that he didn't do a good job of raising her son seems a bit hypocritical. You know, I mean, she's the one who left her son and abandoned him. So for her now to tell this guy, I'm very disappointed you didn't do a better job, seems a bit ridiculous to me. Now, Sign justifies the attack on Earth by pointing out how Earth and Mars have oppressed and exploited the Belters for generations, and with the discovery of the ring worlds, they have to get, or rather, they have to act now, or Earth or Mars will keep the spoils from the ring worlds all to themselves. But Naomi just isn't interested in hearing this. This is one of the things that makes Marco so compelling as a villain. I remember seeing an interview with J. Michael Straczynski, who created Babylon 5, in which he talked about writing antagonists for the heroes. And he said, the monster never sees a monster in the mirror. That is, the villain never sees himself as the villain, and I don't think there's any doubt that that's how Marco sees himself. He's fighting for the rights of the Belters, who have been oppressed and have suffered one atrocity after another at the hands of Earthers and Martians. Therefore, his actions are justified, even if he's orchestrating the deaths of millions of people. And he has a point. The Belters have suffered, and when he makes those sort of arguments, it makes it more difficult to refute what he's doing, and it makes it easier for other people to believe in him and for the people who are working with him to support what he's doing. Now, back on Earth, the process of opening the service panels and climbing the ladder continues, but there's an elevator blocking the way. Then Sully, the guard who was shooting the handholds, screams and falls back down the shaft to his death. The guards then threaten to shoot Konachek, who insists that he didn't do anything. The other two guards then climb up the ladder, one to shoot the handholds and the other to watch Konachek in case he tries anything else. Then the building shutters and the elevator comes loose and starts falling down towards them. Luckily, they're in this alcove that's created for the ladders, so the elevator misses them and passes by, falling down to the bottom. With the elevator gone, they see the top of the shaft and the open sky as if the prison were gone. Now, on Marco's ship, Naomi takes a knife from the galley and goes to the bridge to kill Marco, but before she can, Philippe removes her from the bridge, and luckily, he doesn't see the knife, so she never realizes what Naomi, or he never realizes what Naomi was about to do. I have to say, I never really thought that Naomi was going to kill Marco or that she would get caught. On Earth, Amos and the others finally make it to the surface and find that the entire prison building is gone. Then Konachek turns on one of the guards and kills him, and then Amos tries to fight him, which really doesn't work, and Konachek starts to strangle him. Clarissa tries to activate her own implants and stop him, but the blockers are still too strong, so it doesn't work. Konachek carries Amos toward the elevator shaft to throw him down into it. But then the other guard shoots Konachek through the torso, and Amos manages to throw him down the shaft instead. On Tycho, Holden, Bull, and a few others are getting the Rossi ready to fly so they can pursue the Naomi and get the proto-molecule back. On Marco's ship, Naomi approaches Sign and starts helping him with the O2 scrubber, but then she clocks him over the head with a wrench and gets his hand link and calls Holden to warn him that the Rossi's reactor has been sabotaged and may blow if they power the ship up. Holden gets the call just in time, but Sign stops her from telling Holden where she is and ends the call. Now, this was the one part of the episode that felt a bit contrived to me. She calls Holden to warn him not to start the reactor at the very moment he's starting up the reactor. Well, that's kind of convenient, but I guess even the Expanse can trip up a bit now and then. Out in the belt, Alex and Bobby discover that the Martian ships they were following have met with two other Martian ships and a Belter ship as well. Then they realize that the weapons that are being transferred to the Belters are actually the Barkeith's two escort ships. This is Marco's Free Navy. Mars is supplying Marco with a fleet of Martian military ships that are crewed by Belters. Then the Belters notice the Firehawk and launch a missile at them. Alex and Bobby try to outrun the missile, but it isn't working. Then Alex tries to outmaneuver the missile, but that doesn't work either. With the missile closing in, Alex dumps their power core and the missile strikes it instead of them, and the episode ends there. Not surprisingly, this is a bit of a come down from the disastrous events of episode 4, with a lot of the episode being spent on Earth with Amos, whose storyline is really disconnected from all the bigger events that are taking place. The episode seems a bit slower than the previous episode, and I could argue that this episode is a little disappointing, but really that's not the point I'm trying to make in this review. The point I'm trying to make in this review is that everything bad that happened to the Starks was all Catelyn's fault. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments, and if you found this episode informative, please hit the like button. Also, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.